Are you a big fan of role-playing games that loves to play in lots of different settings and tell different stories, but you're getting a little bit weary of changing system all the time? Maybe you already have a system that you love to play along with, but it's not great at either being relatively rules light or even not quite crunchy enough. Maybe it only really supports the narrative storytelling experience, but it's not great in combat. Maybe it's a fantastic combat driven game, potentially derived from something like a miniatures war game. I'm looking at you, 5th edition, but actually without significantly tailoring the system, it's not great at telling a story, not very narrative first. We're going to talk to Kate Evans, the marketing manager from Monte Cook Games, all about the new edition of Cypher System. Have you used Cypher System before? Are you a fan or are you brand new to it? Let me know in the comments down below. I've got a few Cypher System books. Here's the current core rule book, and actually just above my head, these white books you see here, they're all settings books and genre books for Cypher System. So I can say it's a very interesting and dynamic system. Let's find out what's new. So yeah, grab your dice. I'm very excited about this. Kate from Monte Cook Games is here yet again. So with Devious Dungeons, Foreboding Forests, and The Coolest Cats. Oh, and I need to get changed because Old Gods of Appalachia is one of my favourite Cypher System games. My name's Phil. Welcome back to the Dark Orb. Hey, Kate, welcome back to the Dark Orb. How on earth are you?
Be here. Lovely to see you. So, and yes, it's a smashing cap, right?
This cap is freaking amazing. So I was prepared for this to be kind of just a grey baseball cap that was printed, but in fact it arrived, and I don't know if it's leather or if it's some kind of faux leather, but like this kind of leather-ish panel is stitched on the Old Gods of Appalachia logo on the crown at the very top, and this tag at the back, and it's just really solid. Paid for with my own money, a wonderful surprise, and my favourite baseball cap. Full stop. So it's really cool, and I've got to say, Monte Cook on the whole, I'm hugely biased, but I think Monte Cook games are hugely cool. I have to address the not very elephant-like elephant in the room and do a big thank you for your support of Orbtoberfest, our little convention that happens every year in Nottingham. We're on year 3 now. There's only a couple of tickets left, so I'm not shilling for players at this point in time for a change. But if you want to come and play, it's October the 4th in Nottingham in the UK. But every year, Monte Cook Games, you've really helped us. You've supported our raffle, which is fundraising and helps us to run this very channel, and also pushes our community to play brilliant, uh, really interesting mix of different games using the Cypher system settings and the rule set itself. So thank you. Oktoberfest is deeply indebted to Monte Cook Games and to you.
You are extremely welcome. I love Oktoberfest. It was great having been there. Managed to make it once, but since then it's been a bit convention heavy in America around that time, which is a bit of a bummer. Um, but it's always such a great opportunity to play so many different games,
Yeah,
and things that I just wouldn't normally perhaps look at. You get that lovely feel in things, and it's a great community. Everyone was super welcoming and super fluffy and very happy to just let you know about things and and it was lovely because it was passionate without patronizing, which
yeah,
I love.
I like
And I
that.
say this as someone who nerdsplains to people.
No,
People call it mansplaining. I disagree. I was like, but you don't understand the last 40 years with this. Oh, no, 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 no. It's okay. Don't frighten folks. Just be welcoming. And you
yeah,
guys are. So,
we try
yeah,
very hard.
amazing job.
It's such a nice group of people. Shout out
Yeah.
to everyone at the Dark Orb who's watching this. And we've got a Discord, and everyone's welcome to join our Discord. The link will be down below. And yeah, come along to Oktoberfest, oktoberfest.com. But what we really enjoy with Oktoberfest is making sure there's a real kind of diversity in the types of games that are played, And the only rule, interestingly, is no fifth edition. And that's not because fifth edition is bad. It's great for what it is, and I've enjoyed every fifth edition game that I've played. But I think there are some other systems and other kind of native settings out there that need more love. And one thing I love about Cypher System is that it really embraces that. You've got some great original IPs, you've got some licensed IPs, and they're all held together with this fantastic system, which is at lower levels pretty rules light. At higher levels can get a bit crunchier. But I'd love to know more about why we have a new edition of the Cypher System, because I mean this book I think was copyright 2019, but it does go back further than that, doesn't it?
Yes, no, absolutely. So, the way it's told to us as well is so in 2012, Monty and Shauna wrote a little thing called Numenera, and they decided to crowdfund it, and it accidentally made an awful lot of money.
Oh no.
And as a result of that, yeah, they they were quite surprised by this, and then they had to make a company. The first person they called was Tammy Ryan, who still works for MCG,
Yeah.
and she's one of the leadership team and things, and she's absolutely brilliant. And they started with 3 people and then added people, and it was, chucking stuff out of their own garage to start with, and then it just escalated because they suddenly realized that after Numenera and developing things for that, along with Bruce Cordell, they wrote The Strange.
Not that
Thank you,
we've
very nice to make glamorous
planned
and
this,
systems.
but there you go.
Yeah, it's always good. Um, and it suddenly thought, but if you're doing different recursions of Earth, which is what The Strange is, it's like a big old multiverse thing,
Yeah.
different recursions of Earth. Um, why can't you do that with anything everywhere? Why couldn't everything or every system or every story that's there be part of the Cypher system? So the idea is that you can play any character in any setting in any genre, and that's it. And I always knew that was a thing, but interestingly, it wasn't until the first CypherCon that we organised that I suddenly realised how crazy the players were with it. So people ran sky high. You remember the kids film where they're all superheroes
Yeah,
except for one
vaguely
fella?
remember that.
Yeah, yeah. So they ran that in Cypher System.
Hmm.
Someone else did Carnival Row, which is
Mm-hmm.
the TV show with these like steampunk fairies and things. Somebody else ran the Division 2, which is the console game,
Yeah.
where it's Washington post-apocalyptic, and it just works. It just works. That's the whole thing. So why would we have a new edition if things just work? Well, that's the thing. It works for all of these, but one things that we were finding in-house is that we were house ruling a whole bunch of bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Things where, oh, well, this works a little better. Let's run it that way. Let's make sure this happens. Um, and the other thing is that we looked on Reddit, which is both an awesome and awful place. It can be wonderful and terrifying. You need to definitely get your big girl pants on before you go and see
Yes.
Reddit. Um, but it's very honest and things. So you
Yeah.
definitely get people's, you know, very emotional sometimes, but definitely very raw feedback. And
Yeah.
that's massively cool. There are a number of Discord servers and things which we're
Mm-hmm.
part of, sometimes officially and sometimes on the quiet, so you don't know it's us. And we listen to what people are doing, we see what people are doing, see how people are playing stuff. We listen at conventions when people come and talk to us and things. We listen when someone, has a moment on the internet and goes, but this thing isn't quite doing its stuff. And you're like, yeah, dude, we feel you. That's okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely get that. What can we do? Is anyone else finding this as well? Why isn't this working?
Yeah.
So the first thing is there's a whole bunch of stuff which, over 10 years later, we think we can do better and more elegantly.
That's
That's the
great.
first thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second reason is that Cypher System, you can play anything. You can play any character, any genre, any universe. And as a result, people who are perhaps used to a slightly more structured approach will look at it and go, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes they don't necessarily open the books that they've got on their own bookshelf. Gently
I
calling
feel
you out
called
here
out
on this.
here.
Yeah, yeah, it
I've had
should
this for
be.
about 3 years. I have read some of the, not all of, some of the PDF though, and yeah, I find it a little daunting. I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie.
No, absolutely. And that's one of the things we want to do because we very much believe in the system and we very much believe in the settings that we have for it and we want more people to play it.
Yeah,
So the way you get more people to play it is you make it more accessible.
yeah,
And if something's accessible, it doesn't matter where you're coming from, what your background is, or any of this kind of thing. If it's easy to get into and it's pretty obvious as to how to play, then you'll play it and you'll get more people to play it and you'll tell a wonderful story with wonderful people. And that's the point. And it's great fun.
yeah, and I'd agree. And the thing is that with a system like this, you need it to be accessible. Um, but you're right in that a lot of people don't want structure and they want everything to be very freeform, and it's already perfect for that. But some people, and I definitely class myself as one of these people, need a little bit of structure in order to have that initial push of, okay, this is the direction I'm going in. It's the same with, with
Yeah.
the day job projects. Sometimes you just need someone to give you a nudge and say, just, yeah, this is where we need to be. Let's start
Yeah.
here. And
No,
yeah, the
absolutely.
Strange is a great example of that. And I should also call out the starter set that currently exists. I have it right here. I'm going to try and hold on to the bottom so everything doesn't fall out. That's my one complaint about the starter set, by the way. Um, is
Yeah, we
is
were
great for
we were
that.
looking at the box thinking, yeah,
Yeah,
there are many lessons learned every time we make something.
yeah, absolutely. And we've already put out our actual play of Creeping Ooze, which is the first adventure from the starter set. We're currently in the middle of recording Zambit Station, which is the second adventure. So hopefully that'll be out probably in a couple of weeks, as we've got a cast member missing at the moment. But we do plan on doing a little review of this as well. And spoiler alert: the box, the physical box itself, is probably my one gripe. Um, Otherwise, it's pretty awesome. Comes with dice and cards and all that sort of stuff. But that does beg the question, being as the starter set's like a year old, maybe a little bit more than that. Um, how come we've got this book coming right now when you've just launched the starter set?
So here's the thing. We funded the starter set 2023.
Yeah, it
No,
was ages
yeah,
ago.
2023. I'm in the right decade.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
job.
yeah. Correct decade.
Um, yeah. So, sorry, this is the last week of the crowdfunder. We've got 4 days left, and
Yeah,
therefore everything is very exciting, shall we say, sometimes needlessly exciting. Um, so because we crowdfunded it in 2023, there's still obviously development time,
yeah,
production time, getting it over here, getting it out to everyone time.
yeah,
The same thing is going to be true of Cypher. So this 2.0 variation, whilst we're funding it now, we're not expecting to see anything until end of summer next year. So it's a whole nother year
yeah,
of everything that has just come out. Um, and that is assuming that the universe stays kind to us and we are able to move things to where they need to be and get things manufactured where they need to be and so
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Because at the moment, that is also needlessly exciting for
Exciting's a good
everybody,
word.
no matter what industry they're in.
Yeah, it's very true.
So,
It's very true. So
yes.
grabbing
Yeah.
the Cypher System starter set now, or even in the next 9 months, realistically,
Yeah.
is a great way to give you a head start on the core kind of foundational. What's that I'm looking for? Tenets, I
It's
guess,
basically the
of the Cypher
elements of the
system.
game.
Elements,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there'll be
100%.
some changes, obviously,
Yes.
which there are
And
anyway
the other
between the.
thing with the
Go on.
Yeah, sorry. So the starter set is brilliant. So I love that you're playing the fantasy and then the sci-fi because the thing with those is it's the same characters.
Pretty
And
much.
that's the
Yeah.
first it's the first shtick is here's a fantasy setting with a bunch of amazing characters that can get into all sorts of trouble because that's the point. I heard a wonderful thing from Nathan Blades, and they said that you should find the character said and play it like you stole it. You know,
Yes.
drive it like you stole it,
Always.
play it like you stole it.
Always.
And I think that's absolutely wonderful way
Yeah.
of talking about things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in one shots and convention games. Like, it doesn't
Yes.
matter whether they survive. What matters is that they're true to themselves along the way.
Yeah.
And in fact,
Tell the story that you would see on TV that gets you the
exactly,
Globes and the awards and yeah.
exactly, or the one that gets the channel changed. In our experience, we don't actually have the same players playing as the same characters throughout these two adventures. Our good friend Jason ran the Creeping Ooze, the fantasy adventure. I'm running Zambit Station, and we're only playing with two PCs, so we're going super kind of dense and light on the adventure. Actually, we had three
That's very
PCs
cool.
for the fantasy. As one of our patrons, Matt, joined as well. That was great. But for Zambit, sadly, we have only the two of us plus the GM. So very different feeling. And I'd forgotten
Mm,
how different it is when you have a smaller player count compared to a larger group. It's kind of more intimate. You get much more one on one time, and it's kind of a little bit uh, everything feels a little bit more urgent and a little bit more impactful. So yeah, that's the new edition. And talking about the starter set, which always will have a slight difference between the starter set and the full published rule set anyway. Can you give
yeah.
me some idea of what I might expect jumping, let's say, in a year's time from the starter set as it currently exists, or from the
Yeah.
current core rulebook over to 2.0? Because and I know Monty has got a video on the Backerkit page, and yes, Monte Cook
Yeah.
is a real person. That's his name. Um, Hugely impactful to the community outside of Cypher, as well as obviously with Monte Cook Games itself. He's done a good explanation about some of the updates. Could you go through a couple of those?
So the biggest central bit of the system stays the same. So everyone talks about I am an adjective, noun, who verbs, which is how you make a character. And that sounds like super poncy if you've not understood it before, you've not done it
Yeah,
before, and yet it's been a while since you've done English GCSE. But for example, I am an intrepid explorer. So intrepid gives you things to do. Explorer is your type. Here's your starter.
yeah,
I'm an intrepid explorer who defends the weak. I'm
yeah,
the Witcher. I'm an intrepid explorer who teaches language and natural history. I'm Dora the Explorer.
yeah,
Immediately, huge segues just by using the different adjectives and descriptors
yeah,
on the thing. So that stays the same. It's still a D20 system, and you can still, if you can imagine a difficulty between zero, super easy, no problem at all, and 10, godlike and nigh on impossible, then you can GM Cypher System. Pretty much that all stays the same.
Can I ask a quick question? As a brand new player,
Of course.
how do I
Yes.
how do I pick and make up these words like a noun, adjective, who verbs? Is that right? Whatever it is.
Yes. Adjective, noun, who verbs.
Adjective noun.
Yes.
Thank you. Adjective noun. I thought, no,
Yeah.
that's not right.
Descriptor,
But I mean,
type,
can't I
who
just pick
focuses.
anything?
Yeah.
Where does this verb comes from? I mean, I'm a tired YouTuber who doesn't get enough sleep. Could I do that? Or is there some more structure when creating that character? Where do these things come from?
Yeah. So the big thing about the current Cypher System book is that it's something like 428 pages. It's about probably only about 20 pages of rules laid out in ways that you can cross-reference to get a good understanding of it. And all of the rest of it is either a few adventures, bunch of creatures, and it's just then options for what the characters want to do.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things is this is honking great big book full of stuff that people can do. You always have different types. These are the types of character that you can play, and those types are specific to different worlds.
Yeah.
For example, you can be a nano in Numenera.
Hmm.
You might be a magician in another world. You might be an archivist in another. You might be a mage, another one, you might be the super tech guru in another. They all sort of occupy that same space. The name is different so that you know who you are and where you've come from with that particular genre. Um, and then everything else is just huge amounts of options for you to pick from. One of the other reasons that we're doing a second edition is a lot of these options have kind of been repeated, or the original one has since been replaced with something that's a bit more elegant. We
Yeah.
still have the original there, So it's going through one of the things that the design team are doing at the moment is going through all of that historical stuff and saying, right, this has actually been superseded by this thing. This original one was good, and we want to take elements of this and we want to put it into the thing that is the newer version. And here's a bunch of new things that we thought of because now we've seen more, we've read more, we've gone out and played more things,
Yeah.
and we think that this will be super fun.
So the noun, the type of character, your wizard or your explorer or your
Yeah,
adventurer, that is different for each genre, each setting book, each IP,
yeah,
but they kind of map to each other loosely.
yes,
And then your adjectives and your verbs, they're also found in those books. So building that description of your character, that sentence that describes what your character is at a high level, that's chosen from effectively from tables.
yep,
And the abilities that you start with, I believe, are also somewhat dictated or influenced by that description that you've chosen. I mean, you can change it, but
yes.
that gives you like a quick start to having a character
Hmm.
that's 75% of the way there.
Absolutely. And the thing with one of the changes for Cypher is that it's going to be the things that you can do are going to be much more genre specific. It's going to
Right.
feel a lot more. If you're a wizard and or a mage or a magician or whatever you want to call it in that fantasy world,
Mm,
the things that you choose can really make you feel way, way more like that particular thing.
cool.
And that's we thought that was really important that you're not just going, oh, it's a thing, we do this. It's
Yeah.
like a no, no, you know what? I want to be a dragon riding mage, or I want to be a sword mage, or I want to be an actual proper, honest to goodness, old fashioned wizard with the giant pointy hat and the word that says it, that kind of thing.
Nice.
Is
Nice.
we wanted it to feel more genre specific, and it's one of the reasons that we've sort of got these smaller books as well.
Mm,
Is instead of one honky great big manual of everything, we've split it out so that you're not everyone trying to crowd around one book. We also massively acknowledge that it's usually the GM that does the buying. Players,
yeah.
look after your GM, get some of the resources yourself. Doesn't not just for our system, for any system you play. If your GM's running something for you, support them, get some of the books for yourself. It makes a
Yeah.
huge difference to have more than one book at the table.
It really does.
Um,
And learn how to play your character. Even if you can't run the game, doesn't matter about that.
yes,
But if the GM doesn't have to learn how your character works, they can spend more time on telling you a great story. So
absolutely, 100%.
I'm always very
No, that's really good.
very kind of grateful when I can palm off a little bit of the player responsibility to the players in exchange for knowing more of the rest of the system and the rest
Yeah.
of the storytelling. Um, so
Other
yeah,
things
that's
that are different.
say again.
So I say, would you like the other things that are different? So,
Yes.
so the problem with this thing is that Phil and I love to talk, and we were chatting for ages, like, oh, we should probably interview, actually do the recording thing. So yes,
Yes.
this is why we're bouncing around a little, and for that I also apologise, in the
And this isn't our
bagatelle
second
style of
take
interview.
either, honest.
No,
Having realised that
clearly not.
we spoke for about 5 minutes, and then I realised that for some reason Kate's audio wasn't coming into the recording. So, having
Yeah.
to try and remember what we have already spoken about and whether or not it was in the recording.
Yes, yeah, that was a bit whole exciting week. This
Yeah.
entire week has gremlins. It's
Talk to
good.
me
It's
about
Monday, isn't
the
it?
damage track.
So, um, in the original Cypher system, what happens is that you have a creature, let's call it tier three. This means it will do three damage to you with its particular damage type, unless it says otherwise. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it. Super easy to follow these things. Now, in the new one, the way it's going to work is that here's another proviso. This is how it's working at the moment. The design team have been doing this for a long time now, maybe even a year. We're not sure. Um, the point is that this is how it's working at the moment. We think this is a reasonable way of doing it. But instead of having damage go to the pools that you keep your stat blocks on, you will have instead damage which will be minor, moderate, and major.
Mm-hmm.
Minor wounds is like, you get slapped about a bit and you grazed or whatever.
Mm.
Moderate wounds are something which they add up. So once you've taken three moderate wounds, you're actually hindered in your actions.
Mm-hmm.
This means everything becomes a little bit more difficult. You have to get higher on your dice rolls, or you have to try harder to be able to get to do a thing.
Yeah.
If you take three major wounds, you are probably no longer of this plane.
Mm.
That's the whole thing. You could be dead or on the verge of dying.
Yeah.
However, the interesting thing is that creatures might also inflict other things. So it might be that if they've got psionic damage, they'll still attack your intellect pool. So you might, they might backslap you with a claw or something, but then they might also do a psychic attack. So it could affect your intellect pool instead
Right.
or as
That's
well,
good.
depending on the damage of the creature. So then you've got this kind of double whammy that the pools that you're
Mm.
trying to use to do your actions and reactions to things, which are intellect, might, and agility, these might end up being attacked alongside having wounds as well.
Yeah.
So it's it's like slightly more complicated, but it's not complicated. It's more of a this has actually come out of some of the other systems that have been developed in
Yeah.
the intervening times,
Yeah.
because there's a point where you can see in a horror film where someone's battered and beaten up, but having that psychological, oh my goodness, I can't cope with this anymore, or this is super terrifying, and
Mm.
reacting accordingly, that's also important to reflect. It gives a good story. It
Yeah.
means because you are hampered and hindered, you're not just, Supermaning your way through everything. Although if you haven't seen the latest Superman, you really ought to, because he gets completely beaten to bits in
Spoiler
like
alert.
the first scene. Yeah,
I really loved
it's
that film,
actually
by the way.
wonderful.
I
So,
think they did a really good
yeah, me
job
too.
and a return to
Yeah,
form
100%.
for DC, who I always preferred over
Yeah.
Marvel anyway. Um,
So
so that damage system, it's been probably 5 or 6 years since I played it, but it reminds me a little bit of how Savage Worlds does things, um, which is not a bad thing. And in fact, we were discussing this very subject a few days ago on our Discord, and I actually quite personally quite like the way that it currently works with damage coming from the pools. But
yeah,
one of the other GMs in our group actually feels very strongly the other way and is very excited about this change.
yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see where that comes from. And am I right in thinking that this in part came from some of the some of the system adaptations in the Magnus Archives RPG, which
Yes.
which
So
I've
so
got
this is
here.
one of the
I've
other
started
things.
reading. It's great.
Yeah, excellent. So every time we do a new IP, and it's been especially interesting for the Magnus Archives and Old Gods of Appalachia,
Yeah.
because these are somebody else's IP, and you have to be so very careful with somebody else's IP
Yes.
that you're not just doing, the marketing term is a brand slap.
Yeah.
We all saw them back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Like, oh, this is just something with a brand stuck on top of it, and it's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
And it's terrible because it doesn't feel like the brand. And one of the reasons you're buying it is because you are in love with the brand in some way.
Yes.
Um,
Exactly.
so what we want to do is make sure that, so with Old Gods of Appalachia, you've got O's and you've got curses and you've got things that happen. And then we suddenly realized that a lot of the curses and things, you haven't really got a way of getting out of it, nor of doing rituals to help with it. Yes, it's very, it's
I love this game.
gorgeous.
I haven't played or run it anywhere
Yeah.
near enough.
It's very cool, and the lore behind it is wonderful. If you've not
Yeah.
listened to the podcast, if you want to know about Old Gods of Appalachia, the role playing game, just listen to the first episode of the podcast. I would say the
Yeah.
same for the Magnus Archives, actually.
I
Yeah,
agree.
very much
And
so.
the challenge that I have more so with Old Gods than Magnus, although it happens to me with Magnus at the moment, because I've been trying to catch up on the lore before I finish, or before I get any further in reading the RPG. I kind of wanted to
Yes.
not be spoiled, but I've only managed
Yeah.
to get to episode 50 something right now because about 10 minutes into any episode, I start falling asleep because I only ever tend to have time at the end of the day. And
In the
that's
evening.
in the evening, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's even more of a problem with Old Gods of Appalachia because the narrator,
He has the most amazing voice. Yeah.
it's just incredible.
Steve's honeyed tones. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was doing that. I was trying to listen to them on the aeroplane
yeah, it's
on the
impossible.
way to and from. It was like completely
And even if you
conked
don't
out.
fall asleep, you just end up in this kind of transcendent state where you realize that
Yeah.
you're listening to the kind of mellifluous southern drawl.
Yes,
It's beautiful. And
it is
you realize that you haven't heard any of the
what
words.
he's saying.
You just have
Yes.
this, it's almost like listening to ambient music. You just end up in this kind of
Yeah.
state. And then you're going to go, oh crap, this thing has been going for 45 minutes. And I remember the intro and the music, and then suddenly it's ended, and I don't know what's happened.
You don't know what's happening. And
Yeah,
it's worth listening to.
it's
There's
so
such
good.
amazing stories. I
So
had the
good.
great opportunity. I went and saw them live last year when I was in America.
Wow.
And just because it was really fun. It was a point where um they do a whole bunch of readings. There's music in between from live acts and so on.
Yeah,
It's all to do with the Appalachians and the whole
yeah,
thing. Um, uh, there was a big cast doing stuff, reading, coming in and out, doing this. And there was Steve, who is the main person that you'll listen to on Old
yeah.
Gods. And there was a point at which he was getting more and more worked up, and then he just took his jacket off, and there was a whoa from the audience. And then he rolls his sleeves up, and it felt a lot more like when you see the evangelical church stuff on telly, because he
Yes.
was just amazing and this huge passionate stuff. So yes, big fans of all of that. So,
It's,
so
I'm
to
very
answer the
envious.
question,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
we did have a question, didn't we? Before we
yeah,
started
yeah,
proselytizing Steve Shell and his incredible tones.
absolutely. And Cam, who writes
Yeah,
like a huge, so Cam and Steve are the people who do Old Gods of Appalachia, and
yeah,
she's incredible with her writing, and she has some amazing devious plots, and the characters are incredible. Um, and you hate them, and you're in love with them,
yeah.
and you fear for them, and you cheer them on, and that's the whole deal, right?
Same with Magnus
It's very
Archives.
interesting.
Same with Magnus
Yes.
Archives.
Yeah.
Different, but very similar, and you can see why you jumped on those two specific IPs that you have to be very careful to nurture, um,
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
because they are fantastic games within the Cypher system. And did you know there's a new version of the Cypher system that's currently crowdfunding on Backerkit?
That is something that has not escaped my notice, and I apologize to all my friends. My friends are like, "There's just Cypher System ads out there." It's like, yeah, sorry guys,
Yeah.
because we talk about Cypher and all this kind of thing, and yeah,
I think that
it is crowdfunding.
this speaks to how diverse the system is actually. You know, we just spent the last 5 minutes talking about two completely different things. One, a kind of contemporary horror, yes, but a contemporary investigation game. The other, an old folk horror tale. And then we've got things like The Strange, which is all jump. It's a bit like Sliders, I guess, in a way.
Sliders would be a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness also.
Yes, absolutely. And so we were going through what was different with the new,
Yes.
new and then we got distracted.
That's right. So the I suppose the big things are the central point of stuff as to how characters are made
Yep.
doesn't change.
Yep.
The types of characters and the things you can do with them is getting way more genre specific. And so it feels more like the character belongs in that setting.
Did that also
Um,
mean that they feel a
the
little bit more class driven? So a little bit more,
yes,
I guess, a bit like in 5e, where your classes are very strictly defined. In Cypher,
yes,
you can still pick and choose anything from anywhere, certainly when you're
yeah.
kind of moving forward, but as a base character.
Yes, so as a base character, they feel more like that. But here's the thing. If you want to do something completely gonzo and add things from any possible book into your setting, you can still do that.
Yeah.
The idea is that we're making it more accessible for people as a jumping off point, but we're also meaning that if anyone still knows what they're doing, they can absolutely just build it from the ground up and make it 100% theirs. That's the whole shtick. We are not isolating one set of audience from the other. We want to have everyone come in and play games with us and tell stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be
that's awesome.
it's gonna be great. And you've got the three different books, so that really splits it out. It comes in a gorgeous slipcase as well. Um,
Mm.
One thing that I haven't got my head around yet, and it's because pretty much every Cypher game I've played has been at a really low level. The characters have been like level one, level two, that sort of thing. To me,
Yeah,
Cypher System feels really quite light as a system, so rules light. But I
yeah.
know that I've got friends who have played much more advanced levels, and they actually say that it gets quite crunchy as you kind of get up the character advancement tree. How would you describe that in terms of the crunch and how that ramps up?
So I think that's the thing is that one of the things with Cypher is they want to be looking at why that feels more crunchy and try and make it be that you have access to things that you want to do, make your, this sort of epic level, amazing game, amazing story, but it doesn't get you bogged down in the crunch of, oh, if this is a thing, then that's a thing. We don't want it to be an if then else problem because
Yeah,
um, those can be fun. As a nerd, they can be fun, but not when you want to be telling a story. You don't want the rules to get in the way of the story. The rules are there to try and facilitate it, and that's one of the things that the design team is working on is to look at that and how does that feel and how does that relate to higher levels and so on. That's the other thing. I've been watching the amazing development of this over months now, and it's like the most epic collaboration and also a fight in a good way. And it's like this thing, yeah, yeah, this thing is like it's not working, and it's wonderful because it's always massively good natured and it's always massively, oh shoot, we should have done this, or guys, we thought about this, oh yeah, that's a great idea. How do we make this more XYZ thing? Um, and so seeing that is one of the things that I dealt with. It also means that I can't tell you everything that's going on. um,
boo.
I know, and Monty was able to chat to folks, I think, over the weekend and stuff, and he has a better idea of where it is. But again, there's still that whole, we're still evolving, we're still making it together, and we're still playtesting it. So we had our summit
Yeah,
this time last week. Again,
sounds about
everything
right.
is a bit of a blur. Yeah. And so as a result of that, we got to play. So I got to play Invisible Sun, which was great, which is GM by Sean, who is a wonderful and forgiving GM in that we were basically supposed to be these very, oh, Moggin, look,
She keeps
very cool.
meowing, so I've had to pick her up. Apologies.
Oh, bless her. No, 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 it's fine.
This is
Also
Talia.
great, megalomaniac style, know, that kind of spectre type thing. Um, we went over this morning to feed the cat that my parents don't own. So, yeah, just one of those things. Um, what were we talking about? Sorry,
We
Mogging
were
is super
talking
cute.
about things, playtesting,
Oh
about
yes,
the
play
summit.
testing. So part of the things with this is that we got to play it. We get to play the games and things. Invisible Sun is not changing. Old Gods of Appalachia is not changing. Tidal Blades and Magnus Archives are not changing. Anyone who's been following our crowdfunding might have seen that the Darkest Woods, the Magnus Archives, Tangled, Invisible Sun, Indigo, and Electric, and Old Gods of Appalachia, All Your Gods Are Dead, or Deeper Still, are not strictly Cypher System. They are
No.
Cypher, they're powered by the
Yeah.
Cypher System, but they have their own specific rules all contained within their books. So
Yes.
you just need that book to play. They're not changing, or they're not changing at the moment. If when we come around to do this, because obviously we have IPs and things with them in a few years, and they say, you know what, let's upgrade this. A lot of the upgrades that are being done for Cypher are as a result of developing Old Gods of Appalachia, of Tidal Blades, of Magnus Archives. So yeah, that's kind of where it is. So if you bought all that and you're getting crowdfunders now, please don't be grumpy with us. We promise we've done this out to try and get as much out of everything as possible, and so that we're not like, oh, well, you bought this last week, give some more money, because no, our fans are the reason that we have a company. It's the reason why I can have a cool job. It's the reason we can develop stories and things together. So we very much appreciate what's going on there. So yes. Also, if you've got a friend and you want to play, should go to Oktoberfest. There'll be games there. You should also come to Dragon Meet or Gamehole Con, which are the last two that we're doing this year. And yeah, come and do some demos, see what it feels like. That would be a good thing to do as well.
Yeah, always come and
But
play games, and I'm hoping
yes,
for this Oktoberfest, if everything goes to plan, and I need to try and get a practice game in, I want to try and run Stealing Stories for the Devil on the Sunday.
excellent.
But I will catch up
I
with
love
you
that game.
after recording on that and get some
Yes,
pointers.
absolutely. We would do that totally. Amazing.
Yeah, I definitely need a little bit of guidance on that, and that's something that, as someone who's very much neurodivergent, and I mentioned this earlier on, sometimes you just need a little push in the right direction, and then you can run with it. Speaking of being pushed in the right direction, we should probably push ourselves over to the Backerkit and have a look at this actual campaign. So let's do exactly that. So you've hit $722,000, which is
Yep,
not insurmountable. 4 days left.
that is it's pretty cool.
Probably realistically, we're getting closer to 3 days by the time this interview gets out. Well, definitely, because we are recording this, but this isn't being streamed live today. But that doesn't matter. I mean, if you catch this a week or two after we've put this video out, or even longer than that, this is going to be available for late pledge, right?
Absolutely, yes. If you happen to miss the campaign, and I am forever grateful for the late pledge because someone said, "Oh yeah, I've got so and so and so and so." So why didn't you tell me? I needed to hemorrhage money at that, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so I hemorrhaged a lot of money at crowdfunders last year. So yes,
Yep. There's
I
that.
backed The Expanse, I backed the Discworld, and I
There's the
backed
next one there.
Household.
Discworld,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
it's glorious. Yeah,
Household I
just
didn't back, but I really like what Two Little Mice does, and I've got the original Broken
yes.
Compass, which I backed in
Oh,
almost its
amazing.
entirety. So that then
Ah,
became Outgunned and has been evolved since then.
yes,
After Broken Compass got mercilessly acquired by a major miniatures based board game manufacturer who then did some weird things with it.
that's
But Outgunned is basically almost the
it's a
same game.
different thing.
Um, yeah, last year was
No,
quite
that's cool.
expensive for me as well.
Yeah,
Although for me, it was the expansions to Old Gods of Appalachia, which is a game I think you've heard of. There was an expansion
might have
to
done.
there was an expansion to the Magnus archives that was quite expensive.
Oh yes,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was
Funny,
annoying.
funny that was the.
And also there was this. There were a couple of other things that, and got a couple of these things through. So I got this. Let me just move back to our previous
Awesome.
our previous thing. So
Yeah.
there we
High noon
go.
at midnight.
Yeah, I've got this high noon at midnight thing. I don't know, some kind of weird Wild West game. Uses this
We
system
had
called
tremendous
Cypher,
trouble naming that. Yeah, yeah, it's funny. That sort of thing gets everywhere, right? Right?
and I got
There
this
was,
one as well,
yeah, that is
Gunslinger
awesome.
Knights, which uses a Cypher System.
Again,
Yeah, that was you guys really helped me with my credit card issues last year. So, but I mean,
it's
there
spinning
were other
like the
things as
number
well.
plate of the DeLorean and on fire, right?
And the Cypher System Bestiary, which I haven't even looked at.
Excellent.
Um, yeah, last year was expensive, but
Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
yeah, and yeah, the dig your own grave for old gods came through as well, which just basically
Yeah,
gives you more flavor for. You were talking about having more options for building your character. It's just a book basically that helps you to do that, to have an even more
yeah,
exciting character within the old gods of Appalachia universe. And we should say that on the new Cypher System, Cypher System 2.0 campaign, you are actually revisiting some of the previous books, as well as obviously redeveloping the core experience itself.
yeah,
So yeah,
100%. So we wanted to have so we have been looking at this for a long time from a marketing, so from a design point of view, this is like, this is brilliant. We can tie up all these things, we can do this stuff, we can do this stuff. And as marketing, we're like, our fans have invested a lot of their time and money and love and storytelling into this. we must make sure that anything we do doesn't just immediately ostracize them and say, oh, well, everything
Yeah.
you're doing, it was just, there was no point to it. It was like, no, so we've been kind of like, how do we make sure that this is good? And the first thing is, what are the advantages?
Yeah.
What are the things that we're trying to aim for? So it's accessibility. You want people to play your game, they don't know where to start. Boom, you can just go straight in with stuff. Um, People who's like, but I still want to do all the nitty gritty stuff. You can totally still do that. Um, the big IPs that we've done, they're not affected. So that's
Yeah.
going to be okay.
Yeah.
And the stuff that we're doing is stuff that you guys are doing on your game tables because we've been out and we've listened to it
Yeah.
and we're doing the same thing. So if we're all doing the same thing, let's update it so it's more elegant, so it's more easily accessible, so that people can get into it easier and so that we can tell more stories together because that's the whole shtick.
Yeah.
Um, and so from one of the things that we absolutely love about this because our books do come um, at a premium
Yeah. They're
quality,
not cheap.
but
They're
as
not
a
cheap.
result, they're not. But I dare you to find one of our books where the cover has come off or the pages are coming out, unless you've got that player at the table, and we know all know who that player is. They also might be sticky. I don't know why. Just some people have taken
Smell a little bit like
massive,
soup.
massive dump stats. Yeah, it's like, dude, like it's gonna be okay, buddy. Just
Yeah.
please don't lick the book, you know. Um, but the whole idea is that again, if you want to just dip your toe in, you can get PDF versions, you can get sort of fewer like the basic stuff and the basic thing that will let you play. But if you know what you're doing, you want more things and you want stuff, we've got an all-in level. It's like give me the everything
The
because
fill level,
I
as it's
know I
always
like
been called
this.
on the Dark Orb.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. That's always like, yeah, it's the Kate level as well. It's like, what do you want? I'm just gonna give you my credit card
Yeah.
and then
What I want is probably a third of this, but what if? So just
yeah,
play
something
it
else
safe.
comes out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For example, like The Strange. So,
No.
The Strange, we pretty much knew we wanted to redo it because it is out of print. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
Um,
it was hard for me to find it
it's
at the time.
that's the Yeah, this is the thing. It's out of print. Lots of people are still keen on it. And here's the other thing. People are like, why aren't you releasing anything for The Strange? So we have got adventures specifically for The Strange. And the Adventures in the Cypher System had some more, and I think there was another set came out as well. The point of The Strange is that if you do Old Gods of Appalachia, that could be The Strange. You've just done to another recursion, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Or if you're in the Magnus archives, or if you're in Alice in Wonderland, or if you're in an Aliens universe, or any of these things, they're just recursions of the strange. So everything we produce is a strange compatible. That's the idea of it. Um,
yeah,
but we've got more things we want to do, and if, like you're saying, with all of the different crowdfunding stretch goals and things, every time we get to more people, and that's the important bit. It's not more money. We're not
mm,
here to try and get everyone's pocket money. What we want to do is we want to spread the word, and that means that that power is with our fans. So instead of them saying, well, if I don't pay my rent this month I can get more Cypher stuff, please don't do that. Please don't do that. um, we say instead introduce new people, see what
yeah,
they want to do, see if they want to back it. Because even if you're dipping a toe in, or if they decide, no, you know what, that was a really good game we ran, let's get everything, or anywhere in between, then it means that there is something for you in here. Um, and 90% of everything that we've already made is still compatible with 2.0. That's the
yeah,
whole thing.
yeah,
90% of it, unless it's to do with characters, which is the big bit that's changing, then it's there. Even your creatures, we never call them monsters. They're always creatures. All of your creatures are still also easy to convert to Cypher. And there's a little formula that does this, and we'll make sure that everyone has that as well, because we want people to be able to use the things they've already got and to play and tell stories together. So
yeah.
I'm super excited that we got. Sorry, Phil,
No,
go
no,
on.
go.
I'm just
Tell me about your
hemorrhaging
assignment, Kate.
information. So I'm excited because that we got predation because we weren't
Yes,
sure if we'd be able to do it. Because
yes,
anytime you put a new version out, you're always very much. beholden to the fans, and you're always very much beholden to the whole. We believe that this is the way forward, and we're trying to be as transparent as possible about it. If they don't come with us, we don't have a product and we don't have a thing. So it's in our interest to make sure that we listen, which we have been doing, albeit stealthily. And the reason that we were doing stealth looking at things for feedback rather than asking outright is if you ask outright, then noisy extroverts like me get the biggest shout, or the person who is enraged for reasons that might be nothing to do with our system and everything to do with not drinking enough water or things are going badly somewhere else, they're going to get the voice. Whereas everyone else who's doing the playing quietly in the background and creating these amazing communities doesn't get a look in. But they are the sort of people who might pop onto a thread or a forum and go, hey, I'm finding this. What about this? Or they might answer someone else's question for exactly that reason. And that's the bit that's interesting. So, yeah, a lot of feedback. I'm super excited that we've got Predation.
And Predation's one of those games
Which
that
is
I've wanted
excellent.
to play. I don't necessarily
Yeah.
feel I'd be great at running it, but I wanted to play for a long time. And that's the game where effectively you're all, I think you're the children of a generation of scientists that went back to the time just before the dinosaurs were about to be made extinct by the impact of the asteroid. So, like, it's happening in
Yep.
20 years or something. And those scientists, for whatever technological reason, their equipment failed and they ended up stranded
Hmm.
in the past. And because it's so close to that extinction event, we don't have to worry about the kind of the the impact is not the word I'm looking for, but the side effect of these technologically advanced humans being there right alongside the dinosaurs, because everyone's about to die anyway, which is great because then it doesn't even break canon for what we know of as humanity today, and it gives you a lot of fun to
Yeah.
play as. But your player characters have got this Dino Riders thing coming on, which if you're a child of the 80s, like I am, then you might
Hmm.
remember them, where effectively they've managed to harness some kind of relationship and have dinosaurs as pets. So they can actually jump on the back of dinosaurs and ride around, and they've got laser guns and all this sort of stuff. But all of their equipment is beginning to fail. And the best thing about it is I don't control my dinosaur. So if
Nope.
Kate and I were playing as players at the table, and I don't know, Monty was running the game or something, then my friend Kate would be making sure that my dinosaur was a complete pain in the ass. I'm sure.
Because I would, this is amazing. Your dinosaur is always played by the person to your left. And you can have proto mammals, you absolutely can. But
Yeah.
why would you have a proto mammal when you can have a dinosaur? Sorry, proto mammals. Um, but again, it's that whole thing, and it was really wonderful. A mutual friend of ours ran Predation for a much the unkind term would be grognard, and I don't like the use of this term.
Yeah.
But grognard is from the old guard. It's the old
Yeah.
guard. It's the people who originally played games. And if we didn't have the old guard, we
Yeah.
wouldn't get to play the games we do now.
So
So
we're talking
they're
about
super important.
the traditional role players, kind of 1980s
Yeah,
style role playing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so he ran Predation, and suddenly these guys are like, Wah! And trying to be Velociraptor, or one of them was an ankylosaurus who just thought themselves so pretty, and so he sort of sat there doing the L'Oreal thing. It was beautiful. It was this a whole
That's
level of role
incredible.
playing because instead of it being a character to which they were wedded and had a thing, it was almost like well, this is almost a pantomime,
Yes.
and for them that was the thing of
Oh
it.
no,
But
it wasn't.
it's glorious. Oh yes, it was. It's a thing. I nearly didn't get that one.
It's an in joke only for the Brits.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, everyone else.
Like,
Um,
uh,
was Predation, was that one of Shanna's creations?
yes,
Shanna's
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
amazing storyteller, all the time in the world.
yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, Predation. There's a new version. You've hit that campaign level.
Yeah, I hit it over the
Um,
weekend,
got a
which
new
was
book
very
for the
exciting.
Strange, which we spoke about. There's expansion to the GM book. You get some decks.
Hmm.
There's a new GM screen. Um, and I don't think I've got a GM screen for Cypher System at the moment. So that's
No,
very exciting. I don't know if the one has ever
that's good.
existed for the actual Cypher System itself.
No, and it was we often do play mats,
Yeah,
and that's another thing where we would normally do the play mats on the thing. The GM screen was more of a, again, this is part of the accessibility thing. People are used to a GM screen because in a lot of traditional role playing, it's like us and them, and
yeah,
it's not like that in Cypher. So this is more of a thing to say, okay, guys, open up. Here's the things you can do. Here's all the stuff. Here's like a cheat sheet for things, so it makes it much easier for people to get involved with that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's gonna be gorgeous artwork.
yeah,
One of the things that we have is we have all human artwork, and we have a big stable of artists with whom we work, and they are astonishingly talented people, like
yeah,
crazy things that we come up with, and it's wonderful seeing the basic brief of here's a so and so thing to a okay, this is the setting, this is the right thing to do, and then you see these sketches start to come back, and then the final piece,
yeah.
it's amazing,
Yeah, there's
absolutely
no
amazing.
AI going
So
on from what I can tell, which is
no,
wonderful. And I love the AI, the
no.
AI free.
Yeah, although we did get asked about it because
Yeah,
we put alternate text under our images and things
yeah,
because it's really helpful just to do that.
yeah,
But I write those only have to say this is a thing that's happening here and that's doing that. And
yeah,
someone said, "Well, it sounds awfully AI." I was like, "Oh well, I was trying to be straightforward with it." And actually, someone since then, I forgot the name of the person who did it, which I should look up, has done a thing of how you make the picture sound interesting whilst conveying all the stuff. And so I have completely redone how I write those as of like the last 2 weeks, specifically so that it shows it's not like dragon standing on a thing with a
mm.
blah. It's the kind of like the regal statue does this, and it's still whilst trying to keep it underneath the image.
But
But it
what
is
we're actually
important
learning is that
because
you're a
again,
Cylon.
yeah, apparently so. It's it's okay. Like, maybe I'll have to do a 2.0 at some point and get an upgrade to my software.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff in this campaign. It's still going, and there's still 4 days left. And maybe it'll get to 800.
Yep.
Let's see. We talked a little bit about the Cypher system itself, and really you assign
Hmm.
a difficulty to a challenge. That's the difficulty that challenge is for anyone, and then after you've worked out how difficult something is, like climbing that wall over there, actually that's a really tall, very smooth wall. It's going to be almost impossible for everyone. So okay, then maybe that's
Hmm.
at least an intimidating, maybe formidable. Okay,
Hmm.
that's the same for any normal person. But then you start asking, what's special about your character? What helps your character? Oh well, actually, they've got a grappling hook, and they they are army trained, and they've spent a lot of time in the doing the induction, the assault courses. They are very familiar with climbing walls, and my mate Steve, they're gonna give me a leg up
Yep.
as well. Okay, well
Yep.
that's
Absolutely.
significantly easier, isn't it? Because you've got these three things that have come along to try and help. Or in fact, probably only you would take three of those, so you'd have an
Yeah,
innate
yeah. So you've got
ability.
skill trained,
Yeah,
you've got an asset,
mm,
and you've got someone helping you as well.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
it's really
So
good. It's collaborative.
so suddenly instead of having to roll a 21 on a d20, which is not very easy to do, you're rolling
No.
a 12, which is significantly
Yep.
easier. So that's the Cypher
Very much so.
system in a nutshell. In terms of what the pledge levels are, uh, we start at $49 just for the character rulebook. So this is I'm a player and I want to help my GM out. And
Hmm.
we yeah, it's not cheap, and there's probably 300 pages or something in that, I would guess. Um,
Yeah.
and that book will not fall apart. I mean, if it does, you can complain at Monte Cook and they'll no doubt fix it
And we will send
actually
you another one
unless
because
you've
yeah,
ruined it
we
yourself
very
on
much
purpose.
believe in our stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, yes,
Um,
and please don't kill the books. Like,
but
it's
uh,
sad making.
but in terms
Yeah,
of, I mean, the way they're stitched, for example, and I'll just go back to the previous view so you can maybe
yeah.
see. I mean, it's the quality is outstandingly good. It's that
Yeah.
binding that really is solid. We looked up what the binding is.
I
I've
think
forgotten
it's
it.
called, yeah, I think it's case binding.
Yeah, that
But
sounds familiar.
the covers as well always have So instead of it just being stretched to the cover, if you see the spine is a specific little place for all of the binding to sit.
Yeah.
So the binding sits in there so that when you open it, and here's the thing, they all make horrible spine cracking noises when you open it. The way you
Yeah.
open a book is you open it gently at the start and you gently open all of it, and then gradually it will ease and open on its own.
Open a
Don't
book?
crack the spine. Like, yeah.
Open a
Or scroll your PDF. It's
open a
also good.
book? I'm not quite familiar with this term. These are just because I can't afford wallpaper.
They do keep a room warmer. They
Yeah, they
do.
do. They do. It's insulation. That's what it is. Um,
Yeah, 100%.
but yeah, that I completely shill for the quality of Monte Cook's products. Apart from the cardboard box that the Cypher System starter sets in,
Yeah,
that's
no,
rubbish.
I know. We
Um,
have looked at that and like,
yeah, there are ways and means to iterate on that. Then you've got the core book set, which I think is wonderful, and that's got the slipcase, which I believe is only available with this funding. There might be some available at conventions and stuff, but I don't. Am I right in thinking that
yeah.
the slipcase is not intended for general sale?
I don't think so, but I'll need to check. So when we crowdfund things, a lot of the stuff that we crowdfund will be available in the MCG shop or from your friendly local game shop. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
We very much believe in making sure that the people go to their friendly local game shops,
yeah, I
because
agree.
again, it's community, it's getting to play with people, it's it's good for your mental health whether you're an introvert or an extrovert.
Yeah,
That's the whole
yeah, yeah.
shtick. Just find a group of people that gives you marbles.
And I
That'd be
would say
great.
as well, controversially, that it's not always cheaper to get the Cypher System books during the crowdfund. And that's not a bad thing. You get a lot of additional value with additional products. But if you're after that
Mm,
one thing and time is not as kind, or your budget is not as kind to you as time is, then it may well be that by
yeah,
the time let's say the character rulebook, by the time that actually makes it to retail, it probably will be around $50 to $80, depending on where you're buying it from. Um, Particularly if you have the luxury of waiting for a sale, obviously. So if you can't
yeah.
buy it
If
now,
you can wait for a sale, then probably. But
yeah,
usually the things that we buy, the things that we crowdfund tend to be cheaper if you get them in crowdfunding.
yeah,
But it is
you get
that
a lot more
we
value.
also massively understand that it's a big investment if you go all in,
Yeah,
and otherwise there's the smaller investments. Again, real life has to win. Please make sure you're fed, that you're
yeah,
drinking properly, that you've
yeah.
paid your rent. All of these are super important first, then do the games. We'll still be here.
But do the
That's the whole
games.
shtick.
But do the games.
But also do the games.
Yeah. Um, and so yeah, the core book set. You've got your is it the three books that are in there, or the two books?
Yeah, so we've
Um,
got the character options,
yeah,
we've got the GM's guide,
yeah.
and we've got the bestiary. I think we were trying to look at leaving space for something else, but I can't remember what it was. Maybe the
Maybe that
GM screen.
screen. Yeah,
Um, yeah, but some of these are another thing of, because again, we listen to people on the crowdfunder, people are like, oh, I really fancy this. And we look and go, oh, yes, it's a great idea. We've been doing this for 6 months and we've gone all of these iterations of things, but actually
yeah,
that fits in with an idea here. So again, we can't say yes to everything, but we absolutely will listen to it and we'll put it on for next time to go, you know what? That is actually a cool idea. And a lot of people have decided that they like it or actually it would serve this purpose. So
yeah,
please
yeah.
keep giving us ideas. We're very happy to be collaborative.
Absolutely. And yeah, for $100 you get that slipcase and the
Hmm.
PDFs. And PDFs from Monte Cook are not the cheapest, but the reality is that the major cost of any role playing book is not actually the printing. It's the all
Yeah,
the design work, all the artistry, the editing, the proofreading, the creative
the
writing,
layout. Yeah,
layout.
all of it. Yeah.
When you actually look at it, the print is on the surface. If you're just looking purely at the kind of the bottom line of how much something physically costs, it's not actually a
Hmm.
large amount of it. Um,
Yeah.
but it's enough, obviously, and particularly with Monte Cook and the quality that you put into the printing. It's not like it's 50p to print the book. Far from it.
No.
Um, quite a lot far from it. But the reason why PDFs aren't 5p is because you still have to cover the cost of those. And if we don't have a profitable Monte Cook, we don't get Monte Cook Games. Simple as that. So,
Yeah.
you know, you have to
And
turn
we have
enough
a lot
profit
of
to keep the
people.
lights on. Yeah.
Yes, we have a lot of people who just exclusively buy PDFs. That
Yeah.
was the other thing. Our
Yeah.
audience very much polarizes into I just want the PDF of this thing.
Yeah.
And then there's sort of folks who might be at convention and go, yeah, I've got all the PDFs. I want this, and this as hard copy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And there are other people like, I need to own everything in one go. My friend Christian has like 10 different versions of the Cypher System rulebook in PDF because obviously there are certain campaigns where you get it as part of the
Yeah.
thing of it. So and he seems to treat them as individual things, which I rather love. You
That's
know,
great. Yeah.
good job, Chris. Yeah.
And you get people like me who wants everything in physical but is running out of physical space to the extent that
Yes.
I've got about five, the books that I've held up throughout this
Yeah.
um, interview. Some of those books, particularly High Noon and there was one of the others that was downstairs. And I've got
Gunslinger
the,
Knights.
yeah,
Yeah. Right.
thank you. And the Darkest Art, which is down here as well.
Yeah.
And they've been downstairs since they arrived 3 or 4 weeks ago. And my study is upstairs, purely because I haven't yet freed some shelf space. And obviously, it has
Yeah.
to go in an appropriate place up here. There's not enough shelf
Yes. No,
space
I
up
get
there.
that.
It's not there. So
Um,
has to go on, has to be filed under C, obviously. So that's a challenge.
obviously.
The ramp up from the core book set of
Hmm.
$60 actually
Yes.
substantially changes the amount of value that you get. And it's
Yeah.
definitely more than just $60 worth. You begin to get quite a lot more printed as well as the PDF stuff. And then the jump
Yeah.
up from there to all in, I mean, that's a big jump. It's $110 more, so it's 80 quid or something,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
not insignificant. But the change in the value that you're getting, particularly if you're playing in person, it really does
Yeah.
change the offering. You're getting things like Predation and The Strange in print. I mean, you
Hmm.
know, when I bought The Strange, it was like 60 quid. It was a lot of money, and these books will be expensive to buy physically because that's the nature of it when you're buying high quality books in role playing. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to buy The Strange and Predation, you're going to be spending £100 to £120 British money probably just to buy those on their
Yes.
own, let alone the other things that you're going to get as a jump here. So personally, money supporting it, the all in is where it's at. Otherwise, amazing
Yeah.
campaigns, you're going to get all the PDFs that one might want. So that really helps. But even if you're just getting the core book set, you're going to see quite a lot of value.
Yeah.
Um,
And in Backerkit, you can pay in four, I think it's 3 or 4 increments.
yes, yeah,
Um, so you don't have to, there you go, 4 monthly payments of things.
yeah,
Um, which means that you don't, and that's a new feature from Backerkit.
yeah,
And this was interesting because when we did the Magnus archives, one of the things that we hadn't realized is quite how young that audience skews. So there's an awful
right.
lot of like um sixth form, college, and then a bunch of
Oh,
uni
interesting.
folks and
People who
things.
actually have time to listen to
Um,
podcasts.
yes, yes, and amazing fans and stuff.
Yeah,
But as a
yeah,
result, they've not got the same amount of free cash
yeah,
that we would. They have time, not cash.
yes,
And so one of the things that they did is they evangelized about it and they helped bring the campaign to life because they were able to get everyone involved with it. But the pledge level that they backed at was slightly lower.
yeah,
And someone said, "Is there a way of paying over a longer length of time?" Oh, we hadn't thought of that. So we went to
yeah,
Backerkit, who are lovely and extremely
yeah,
helpful, and they said,
yeah.
"Actually, we're beta testing this thing. Do you want to add it onto your campaign?" And we're like, "Yes, yes, please, yes, we
Yeah,
do."
great.
And as a result, the pledge level went up. We were able to make more things. We were able to get more stuff out to more people,
Yeah,
and it meant that we did we knew that they were eating and feeding themselves, and paying
this
their
is good.
rent,
This
doing
is
all the
good.
real world stuff, which is the thing you should do first,
Yeah,
and then so yeah, it was really good.
that's really awesome. And yeah,
Yes.
we've got the PDF versions here as well. And that's very interesting about the Magnus Archives in particular because that podcast has been around for like nearly 10 years, hasn't it? So that's especially
Yeah.
interesting that the younger audience has kind of found them towards the tail end, I suppose.
Yeah.
This also interests me. It's not the
Ah,
cheapest
yes.
VTT I've ever seen, I'll be honest, but having
Yeah.
Cypher on Alchemy or Roll20, that's fantastic. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
here's the thing, we definitely want to do it. And so the other thing we have, because I can hear all of our lovely Foundry people having a gentle grizzle in the background, we know that for Cypher, half our audience use Roll20, the other half use Foundry,
yeah,
and a bunch of people do use Alchemy, but we're
yeah,
not quite sure about how many. But it's pretty much 50-50 Roll20 to Foundry.
yeah,
We're trying to work out the minutiae of Foundry and things. We're not saying we're not
yeah,
doing it ever. We're saying that at the moment we know how to get our Roll20 and Alchemy out there, and we'd very much like to do Foundry, but we need to be having a look of that to see how it works, if that makes sense.
yeah.
It's a bit more clear cut with Roll20.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. For Roll20 and Alchemy both,
yeah,
the mechanism for getting that created and published is much more
yes,
straightforward. With Foundry,
yeah,
it's a little bit
absolutely.
more, it's a bit more homebrewy to an extent, and so it requires a different approach.
Mm,
So
yeah,
yeah, I mean that's great.
very much so.
I use Alchemy. We haven't quite found our stride with it, even still. That was one of the biggest crowdfunding backings that I did a couple of years ago. I went all in on that,
Mm,
and I really want to like Alchemy. It's got so much potential. It's still not
yes,
quite there. In
very
just
pretty.
functionally, it's so pretty.
Yeah, yeah,
But as a GM, it's not the most smooth experience yet. I'm pretty sure we'll get there.
yeah,
The brain trust they have, their background, and their approach is quite clearly the right direction. And just needs a
yeah,
little bit more spent on the user experience. So hopefully it'll get there. And I'm really pleased that the
yeah.
Cypher's getting to that because that is my VTT of choice. Because I actually prefer that narrative role playing experience, as we know.
Nice.
Yeah. So the predation, would you say that's your most anticipated of the stretch goals? Was that the one that you were the most excited
I
for?
think that's the one that I like. In terms of what's coming up, I can't tell you that.
No,
And I'm staring at the screen with what we could do on it. I'm
there's
like,
only four
no, I
days
can't tell
left,
you.
so we'll find out.
But
We'll find out.
again, yeah, there's 4 days left. So if anyone wants to back, just go on to Backerkit, Monte Cook Games, look at a Cypher. That's where we are. We can always drop a link into here as well. But the biggest thing you can do is spread the word of it. If you don't happen to have the cash for it, but are keen, spread the word because the way we increase stretch goals, the way we hit stretch goals is by adding more people to the campaign.
I thought that was really
So
interesting, by the way,
that's it. I
rather
think,
than the cash target.
yeah. Yeah, well, the thing is that ultimately we want to have this as a sustainable way of doing storytelling. We very much believe in it. We think it's really good fun. We have so many people have a good experience. One of the most glorious things for Gen Con this year is that of the tables that were there, we had so many people who had never played Cypher before, which was incredible. Because
Yeah,
normally you get the people, they come back and it's like old friends and old faces, like, hey guys, what are you playing this time? People just didn't hadn't played Cypher before, but had played other like mainstream, and I love that we can call role playing mainstream these days,
yeah,
other mainstream brands. But we had a huge number of players from Old Gods and from Magnus Archives, particularly, who had never role played before. And
nice.
exactly, that was like, oh wow, you guys are in for a treat. And it's
Yeah,
like, who knows the lore? And one person's like, I know everything. I was like, yeah, they're gonna be fine. They're not gonna be fine. And it's this whole thing. And the other's like, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. You guys are gonna be awesome. So and we're seeing a lot more people getting into role playing who haven't ever played before. And I love that because it's storytelling. We're a nation of storytellers. We're a world of storytellers. Our entire species
yeah,
learns through play. So stories are hugely important to that. And that's why I think role playing should be such an amazing thing, not on the telly the whole time. Just get up and make your own story. That's the whole shtick,
yeah.
right?
It's a good opportunity to for 2 or 3 hours just be a kid again as well. And
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
part of the adult human condition is we spend so much time worried about paying the bills, paying the rent, what we have,
Yep.
what's the workload tomorrow morning, all this sort of stuff. If you just spend 3 hours
Yeah.
just with your mates talking rubbish, maybe have a drink or just chilling out and telling a story that is just for you guys. It's wonderful. That's why I like role playing, because it gives you an opportunity to just be somewhere else for a little while, have a reset, not be thinking about the real struggles or even just the things that you're doing day to day, and just spend some time somewhere else. And unlike watching a film or playing a video game, which is really, even video games is really a passive experience, it
Yeah.
puts you in your nothing box. This is an opportunity to actually engage your creativity, engage your brain, and you don't have to be some kind of master storyteller to enjoy it. You just need to let go for a little while. So I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan, and genuinely, I feel that Monte Cook Games are a really important tool in that, because of the way that you've crafted the system and how well it supports storytelling. For me, I grew up with storytelling games like Vampire, so that's
Yeah.
what I look for in a role playing game. Um, Thank you, Kate. I have one last question for you,
Oh,
and then
yes.
I'll let you go because we've been talking for about a week. So, hello, anyone who's still watching.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for sticking with.
Without spoilers, maybe just using that wonderful emotive face of yours, can you can you tease what might be on the horizon for Monte Cook Games, like IP based games, non IP based, like original games, licensed games, but
Yeah.
just what's coming. We'll find out, but maybe just give us an expression of how you feel about one or two things that were on the horizon from Monte Cook.
Um, so the next one, actually, I know the next two for definite, and the third one, I think we're not sure of yet because it depends on what's happening behind the
Mm.
scenes. Um, the next one I think is going to be obvious to everyone who knows Cypher System, uh, and I'm pretty certain that Monty actually sort of alluded to it over the weekend as well. Um, the one after that actually is super interesting, and slightly different from things, and might be a collaboration with other stuff, but not necessarily a new IP. And that's all I'm going to tell you because I don't want to get fired.
No, no.
So
What's your overall
yes.
facial expression that encompasses your excitement for what's coming?
So the next one is like, yes, absolutely do this. Um, and then the one after that is like, this is really cool. It's very interesting the way it's done. So
So you're excited.
something that I am excited.
That's what we want
It's
to hear.
like, and I've also been on less caffeine these days because,
Yeah.
it's apparently not great for you.
Yeah, I heard about that. I mean,
Um,
all you need to do is just have all of your caffeine for a given week all in one go.
yeah,
And then just let it
like right
diffuse over
before
the
this.
week. That's what I needed to do this
And that's
morning.
that's tricky. Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah,
the thing. And my thing is I'm realized I'm in a box. And normally when I talk to people, I'm all over the place
same.
like this, having to sit still in my box.
Yeah, the same. And
Yeah.
my microphone is here, and my microphone discipline is appalling. So that's always a
No,
challenge, and I get told off for that a lot. So apologies, everyone. Kate
no, it's doing
from
pretty good
Monte
from this
Cook
side.
Games, thank you. We love you. Um,
Thank you, Phil.
really appreciate the time you've taken with us. Really excited for next time I'm going to see you, which hopefully will be at Dragon Meet in the UK, which is
Yes.
moved to
Yeah.
a new venue now. Very exciting.
Yeah,
Um,
exciting.
but if anyone is around on October the 4th, we've got, I think, 2 tickets left for Oktoberfest. Very limited number of games left as well. But there's some really cool stuff. I think we've got a ticket left for Versen. I think we've got something left for Hard City, Dungeon Crawl
Excellent.
Classics. There's something else. Death in Space. But yeah, very few tickets, very few games left. October the 4th,
Yeah.
orbtoberfest.com. But excluding that, Monte Cook Games, Backerkit, the link will be down below. If you haven't supported that already, jump on. If you have any questions about it, then you can reach out to Monte Cook. How? Through the campaign, I presume.
You can probably ping me on your Discord, although
Yes,
because I do because Discord is also work, I don't always have it on. Otherwise, it just makes
yeah,
pinging
because you don't
noises, which is
always
slightly
work.
crazy making. That's like, yeah, but foolish, I know. Um, Otherwise,
Yeah, Kate Sparks
the
on our
Monte Cook
Discord.
Games,
Yeah,
yes, yeah. But otherwise, the Monte Cook Games Discord is there. You can go to support at montecookgames.com and send an email.
yeah,
You can, if you have backed it, you can put a question on the Backerkit
yeah. In the
as well to
community
ask what's
area.
going on, see what's going on, see what the data is. I and a couple of the girls go through that, but we also go through all of our other Backerkit things. So if we haven't replied the same day, it's possibly because we're in one of the other Backerkit things that's going on at the same time.
Yeah,
But we're trying to be more on the ball with things. But yeah,
there's a
it's
lot
really good.
going
There's
on.
people on the back of train now. There is, yeah. I'm watching the numbers go up. First day of a campaign is useless for work because it's like go. It's like, do they still believe? And he's like, I do believe in MCG. I do. And then
I
the numbers go up.
believe. I believe.
Yes, yeah.
So,
Hallelujah, brothers and sisters, and others. Yeah.
Cypher System 2.0, 4 days left
Yep.
at time of recording. There will be a late pledge available on the back kit. Check out the links down below. Come and talk to us at the Dark Orbs Discord. Go and talk to Monte Cook Games because they're amazing. Uh, big thanks to Kate. You're welcome back anytime. Maybe one day we'll actually play a game. That'd be fun.
That would be really nice.
Let's do
That would
that.
be really
At
nice.
some point when you're
Yeah.
in the same time zone, which is
Yes.
very
Also
rare.
tricky.
And yeah, and we've got all time together, etc. Coordinating games is impossible these days. Bring back COVID. I mean, not literally, but it was so much
It
easier.
was nice though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I got so many games played at that time. I mean, it was rubbish in every other way, but at least there was role playing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, check that all out. Back this if you can, and we'll see you very soon. Very soon we'll be publishing Zambit Station, the second of our Cypher System starter set scenarios. The first one is available on our YouTube right now. 2 sessions of that, and we didn't follow the uh, published story all that closely, so it's really helpful if you're worried about making sure that your players follow to the letter the story. That's not what's important. What's important is that you have fun at the table. And no one else knows what the
Yes.
story is. Only you, as the GM, have any idea of whether or not they're
Hmm.
following it. So just have fun. Until next time, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Monte Cook Games. And I hope that your dice rolls will continue to be way better than mine. Take care, everyone. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.